You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/ARTS. Just go to Indeed.com/ARTS right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Weight loss solutions are not one size fits all. Hers makes it simpler to get started and stick with a weight loss plan, backed by expert-guided online care that puts your weight loss goals first. These include oral medication kits or compounded GLP-1 injections. Through Hers, pricing for oral medication kits start at just $69 a month for a 10-month plan when paid in full up front. No hidden fees, no membership fees. You shouldn't have to go out of your way to feel like yourself. Hers brings expert care straight to you with 100% online access to personalized treatment plans that put your goals first. Reach your weight loss goals with help through Hers. Get started at forhers.com/4u to access affordable, doctor-trusted weight loss plans. That's forhers.com/4u, forhers.com/4u. Paid for by Hims and Hers Health. Weight loss by Hers is not available everywhere. Compounded products are not FDA approved or verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. Restrictions at forhers.com apply.
Please be cautious when listening to this podcast, as some material will be sensitive to listeners. It is not advised to listen to this with children. Please note that these are works of fiction and were chosen for the express reason to broaden our literary knowledge and experience. We do not condone rape, violence, or human trafficking of any kind, and the discussion of the featured literature is solely for an almost academic purpose. The content creators would like everyone to know that there are resources available to those that need help. Please reach out. The hotlines listed in the episode description are our national hotlines and are manned 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We thank you for your understanding. Okay, so we got CIA what works that we don't like. We got a PTSD former soldier, and we got BDSM that's never really explored in the way that you would expect BDSM to be explored.
They do the important part, and they talk about safe words. They do the beginner step. That is step one. Is they establish that you will have boundaries, you just don't know them yet. So we need to establish when to stop.
Thank you for joining us. This is The Pretty Little Death, and we're talking about the September read Salt Kiss by Sierra Simone. I am joined with this month's read by my friend Nigel. He goes by the Cryptid. He's going to be part of our co-host pool. And this is your first dirty book.
Yep, you were my first.
I did not coerce him into this, I promise.
No.
No safe words were needed in getting him to read this. I did pull
You can pry that safe word out of my cold, dead lips.
I did pull this off of my shelf, something I hadn't read that was gifted to me, and I told him this is what we're going to read, this is why we're going to read it, and he was like, bet, it'll be here tomorrow. It is one of 3, and just making sure we're recording this time. It is 43 pages. That last chapter is 2.5 pages long, and it ends on a doozy.
Oh, it does.
Okay, so this is a traditionally published book. We love a traditionally published book, meaning that it does actually have an ISBN, and it is printed and bound in Canada. So we had this discussion over chat because I was saying like, oh no, I'm pretty sure this is a British book just based on the cover. And Nigel was like, no, she's from Kansas City. Kansas City is delivering the librarians that are doing the Lord's work. That's how I feel about that.
Yeah. She's a filthy librarian from Kansas City.
It's fantastic. We need more of them.
She is the one that shows up in your adult Google search.
Yeah. I just imagine some straight lace, kind of corseted woman with a ruler telling you to be quiet in the library.
And her glasses halfway down her face. Some boots like, yeah, there you go.
Hold on. There we go. The headphones were making them askew, so just looking at you like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably with the glasses chain and everything.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know where mine is. Believe it or not, these are not my reading glasses. I don't know where my reading glasses went. They actually do have a glasses chain on them because I can only use them to read. Otherwise I'm just like a big owl, like faced.
I can't see anything.
I can't see anything beyond my, like right here. This book was actually different, and I don't say that very often. This was very different than a lot of our reads. Nigel, why don't you tell us about how this starts and why it's different?
So, it is genuinely 100% in the format that Christina Lynn likes for about 3 pages.
Yeah.
It might be more.
Well,
I think it's 3, maybe 4 pages.
Oh my gosh, the
right?
prologue. It's the prologue. It's 1, 2, 3. That is page 4.
3 1/3. Okay, 3 1/4. We'll call it. Just just to be a little bit generous with it. Yeah. And then it switches to her actual favorite format, first person.
Oh my gosh.
It's like a video game. You start out with the opening sequence, everything's beautiful, amazing, and then it cuts to that first person perspective and nothing looks like the movie.
Oh my gosh. So, let's back up a little bit before we get into this, because I think you actually have a pretty nice perspective on like the inner mind workings of our main character, which we'll get into next. But
because I'm also a bodyguard for the kink king of Maryland.
That's not what I meant. A kink bodyguard.
I'm actually in my room at the club right now.
Oh my gosh.
It's very soundproofed.
Oh my gosh.
That's why I had to blur everything.
I can only imagine what your neighbors think.
I don't give a shit about them.
I have known Nigel for a couple of years now. We play D&D together, and there was an instance where we were, I think I had just left, or I had just come in after it had been decided, going into another friends of ours from our D&D group, his Twitch stream. And there was a bet about reaching a goal for his Twitch stream, and the result of that is if the goal was hit, Nigel would read some smut on air.
Because people like the sound of my voice.
Go ahead and tell the rest of the story, because it's your story. I wasn't there for that part.
So I this is my normal speaking voice, and I had just jumped in because sometimes I jump into our friend Shin's stream, The Chaotic Express on Twitch, and I just jump in just because he's not talking to anybody, and I'm going to talk to him so that at least there's conversation happening, and it's not just him staring at the screen playing video games the whole time. Because sometimes he's ADHD and he gets hyper focused. So we got onto the topic of, like, somebody in the chat was like, "Oh my God, your voice is so amazing. I would pay to hear you read anything." And then Shin, trying to poke the bear and also trying to be like, "I know this would never happen," was like, "You should totally read smut." And I was like, "I'd do it." And then that led to us discussing doing it on his channel, and then us realizing, like, we know nothing about smut. I am a traditionalist when it comes to my smut. I only watch video. It's a joke.
Honestly, more often than not, the audio version of real life smut, we'll say that, because we don't want to say the other one without getting in trouble, is for women. Like, women get triggered by hearing things, and the imagination in particular. And men are more visual, so it makes sense that you would go towards the version that would work best for you.
Yeah. So from there, I did what any self-respecting man would do, and I went straight to the first woman I know that reads smut, and I was like, I need advice on smut books, and I got hit with more information. So we all have that friend who knows a lot about something, and when you have a question about that thing, you're like, I don't know if I should ask them because I know I'm not going to understand any of this.
It's the tism, okay? It's the tism.
It's your cousin who's a physicist, and you're like, I have a question about science, and you just wanted to know, like, what temperature does water boil at? And he's like, well, it depends on the atmospheric pressure, and also, like, there's variables that you take into consideration, like if you add the humidity, and then it's this vector and this and blah. And you're like, you could have just said 212 or 100. Yeah. That's all you had to say. And that's basically what happened to me. And then I was like, well, now I'm like, I am knee deep in this. And I'd watched a couple of episodes of the podcast, but then I sat down and I watched like 6 episodes of the podcast. Like, I had it playing it was still playing in my ears because I had fallen asleep, and I woke up and I was like, huh. So.
Well, tell me, like, what do you think of the podcast? Like,
I like the podcast. I've told you that before.
Well, yes, but I mean, like, I've never actually gotten to hear how many episodes you slept through before. So, like, I didn't know if it was like, oh, you just listened to like 15 minutes of it, and you're like, no, these bitches are crazy, I'm out.
No. I if I have a podcast on that, like, I'm unfamiliar with, I will put it on in the background of whatever else I'm doing, because it helps me to focus on both things. Because ADHD.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Sorry.
You're fine.
I
can edit that out.
Yeah, I know you're not. But basically, I just, like, it was good background noise, and like there were parts where, like, you guys were talking about the book, like when you do the intro on the book and like the page count and like the traditional publishing, and like you kind of get into the more the bookish nerdy kind of stuff that's sort of outside of my wheelhouse. And then once you guys get into the storyline of things, that's when, like, my brain was like, here's the interesting thing.
Yeah.
And like the interactions between you two are what I enjoy the most. That's what I like about podcasts, is when hosts interact. Like, they could talk about anything.
That's
like, you guys could talk about smut books. But like when you two get going on something, like, you don't pull punches. Like, if you both like it, you both, like, hyper-focus nerd in on it, and you're like, what about this? What about that? What about this? But, like, when you don't like it, it's like, I like this, and you're like, but I don't really like it. And, like, neither one of you really wants to hurt each other's feelings, but at the same time, like, you're like, yeah, but it's dumb.
Okay, so in the post, when I'm editing it, those are the parts that I'm like, do I want to get that out? And then I'm like, no, wait, that's not, it would be disingenuous to ourselves
so
and to
human.
Our podcast. We're like, because we don't want to hurt each other's feelings, and honest to goodness, we don't want to hurt the author's feelings, because we never know if the author's actually going to Google their thing and look for reviews, and our podcast comes up. There was one episode, I think it was last year, we did an episode for a book called Sugar Rush.
Oh yes, I listened to that episode and I saw the comments.
Yeah, she actually responded, and she was such a good sport about it. I did apologize. I'm like, listen, and this is the thing, she'd come across my Instagram, and I was like, can we review your book when it gets released? She's like, I'd love that. Thank you, appreciate it. And then we read it. And then I was like, I looked at Cass before we recorded, because we met for breakfast or something like that day. And I was like, I am so sorry that I picked this book. There are very few chances for us to DNF a book. And usually,
I was about to say, I think Cass DNF'd that one.
She did. And it was just too long. We did not expect it to be 800 plus pages.
I was about 830 something.
Yeah, it was massive. I'm super, super glad that I didn't purchase it for the bookshelf. Not that I do book trophies like a lot of readers will, but it was on the KU. I was able to return it. No skin off my back on that. But it was just one of those books that was just like, a red pen would have been very, very useful. And so we try very hard, not just to be kind of obviously to each other's taste, because even though Cass and I like things that are dark, we have very different views on what constitutes as dark and what constitutes as enjoyable. Like, I'm actually terrified to recommend a book to you because it might be too dark. I like things that are considered black reads, where like you might just be a little psychologically damaged to enjoy this slash 100%. Finish it. So
I'm involved. I'm in.
Okay.
I'm in.
Cool.
Don't be afraid to recommend something to me. If it's something that I can't handle, I'll be like, I can't do this. I will tell you. I know my limits, and I haven't found them yet.
We've actually had to cancel an episode. I mean like 2 days before recording. Thankfully we had a backup book for that one, because Cass was like, I read the first chapter and I couldn't continue because it was technically non-consensual, and she was like, I couldn't get further than the first chapter, and I was like, totally understood. I mean, I think the series is good. I don't like the non-consensual part.
Yeah.
But like, I thought the series was good. So like, total. If you don't like something, let us know, because none of us are gonna think. Different boats for different folks. Okay.
So you page 135-ish. So right after they start doing the dirty for the first time.
Hold on. We don't usually do passages, but I will totally do a passage if it's a good one.
No. So it's not a specific passage, but like just so that you have a general idea of like what's going on when he's talking about when they first start like doing their things.
Mm-hmm.
I made Shin read that while we were waiting for coffee at Dutch Bros.
You said 135?
Like right around there.
I will use you like a toy, like a thing.
Yes.
I will make you cry and.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/ARTS. Just go to Indeed.com/ARTS right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Like it.
Yes. I made him read like some of that, and like he was so uncomfortable. Like Shin and I are two completely different people. Like his face was beet red and he was giggling like a schoolgirl the whole time. It was adorable. He's like, nope, I can't keep going.
I teased him a little bit about, I was like, oh, are you going to read the next book of the month with us? And he was like, nope. I read 3 sentences and I'm good. I was like,
and then I told my mom what it was that I was reading, and she was like, "What the hell?" And she was like, "No way, you're reading something like that." And I was like, "No, I'm done with it. Here, Mom." And I gave her a copy. I gave her my copy of the book, so she might be reading it now. So Sierra, your book is making its way across multiple
generations.
Not just generations, but I was going to say age groups, demographics. That's the word I was looking for.
Demographics. Now your mom lives down there near Shin, right?
Yeah, okay, she lives 10 minutes from him.
Awesome. So maybe one of these days she can hop on Shin's computer, because he's got a good one, and she can have a discussion with us.
She would never do it.
Well, at least let her know that there's an episode where we're talking about it.
Hi, Mom.
All right. So yeah, we read Salt Kiss. You'll see Nigel, aka the Cryptid, around much more often in the upcoming episodes. We're very excited to have him with us. Let's get into it. We don't want to give away spoilers, but we do want to let you know what you're in for. And why, Nigel, is this one different, even though it starts with a third person? Why is this different from a lot of the books that I have told you about?
It's, the first person aspect of it. I don't know. Like some of the ones that you've told me about have been, I guess, probably different than this. They probably didn't have veterans in it. I don't know if any of the ones. Well, actually, I guess some of them, but like that were very centered around the kink culture, but like without actually touching on the kink culture too much.
And it's from the entirety of this book is from a cis male's point of view.
Yes. That part.
I was actually, so we were saying this earlier, and when we first tried to record this episode, because we went going and didn't realize that, well, I didn't realize that I didn't have the record settings.
It was a practice run.
Practice run. I love it. I didn't realize when I picked this that this was very, very queer centric. That was not the intention. And when I realized that, I think the first thing I did was, I am so sorry. Next time I'll pick one that's a little less, if it's an issue. Because some readers, it's on them. That's their preference. They don't like to see cross swords in their literature, which, I mean, like, okay.
I mean,
whatever.
it was a lot less cross swords and a lot more plundering booty, to be fair.
I'm so glad I'm wearing makeup. I can feel my face getting hot. Okay. that needs to be on a t-shirt. As soon as we start making merch, less crossing swords, more plundering booty. I love it. It is
skull and crossbones on the back. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. File that away for merch ideas. We got older man, obviously, who is tangentially related to our main character.
Through marriage.
Again, tangentially.
So the main character, Tristan, his father is married to, I guess, would you consider Mark to be the main antagonist?
No. In romance and smut books like this, there's not necessarily an antagonist or a protagonist.
Okay.
We've got main characters, and they either are female or male main characters, or just main characters.
So Mark would be the main love interest, the main male love interest.
There we go. Yep.
And Mark is Tristan's step uncle.
Yes.
So they are related through paper. Luckily.
But my gosh, so fuzzy. And
so the overall the broad strokes overview of it would be veteran, war hero. He hates the term, but that's the term that gets used.
He gave bunny ears for those who are listening.
He goes. Yeah, I should have said quote unquote. War hero. He goes and winds up working for this man who has a very dark past of CIA work that involved assassinations, exploitation, things of that nature. But now he runs a kink club that is solely the sole thing that they deal in is information. That is how they pay for everything.
Because you can take the man out of the CIA, but you can't take the CIA out of the man.
That's not spoiling, really.
No,
I don't think. Okay, but then the main character starts to develop feelings for his boss. His boss starts to understand this, but doesn't reciprocate.
Yeah, that's fair. I would say that's fair.
Until, honestly, the main character, Tristan, kind of breaks the rules.
Yeah.
And
I hadn't thought about that. He does.
And interjects himself into a situation that he is unfamiliar with. And luckily, he is with a complete professional.
Yes. Yeah, let's not understate. I guess this is going back to what you said at the top of the episode. Like, the most important part of kink was actually discussed. And it's not always discussed as thoroughly as it actually, of all of the books that I've read this year and last. I did check my book count for the digital books. This is wrong. This is now 3. Oh, there we go. This is now 3. But my digital books for the year is 204, and I'm that much closer to 300 for the year. I still have 163 days left, I think, as of today. This is the first time that the reasoning for a safe word, everybody just assumes that you know what a safe word is for, but it's never actually explained, and I think it's explained so well in this.
they even go into the details of like how it's used in like an individualized setting versus in a group setting, because at the club they use red, yellow, green for their safe words.
Very traditional set of
and then
safe
and then
words.
he realizes that like one of the people who had an interaction with Mark, the you know which one I'm talking about, the desk.
Yep, the desk.
Hers was La Mer. And the reason that we know this is because it is explained to us, and we realize how significant that word is to her and to Mark.
Right.
And then Tristan comes up with a safe word, Hazel, and it is very significant to him and to Mark. And then also when we meet Isolde, he finds out Isolde's safe word. And so now they all have safe words, and they all understand the importance of it and like how critical it is that like that word is the e-brake. Like when you say that word, done. Stop motion. Time to. It is at my place of employment. We would call it a stop work authority, where everything stops. We need to reassess the situation and see what we can do to make it so that it is no longer this. We have drawn a hard line in the sand.
Right.
Do we need to completely change directions, or do we need to like move over to this direction and go around the obstacle before we get back on course?
I think in that example, that would be more traditionally the yellow.
Yes.
Because in I don't know how much of the lifestyle you've experienced, if anything. I'm not making assumptions, but if you safe word, that is it. You don't need to go to the progress of green, yellow, and red. Red is being the hard stop on everything. That's what the safe word is. Most communities, I'll say this, most communities within the lifestyle will say if a safe word is used, it immediately stops the scene and you go straight into aftercare. And it doesn't politely, societally acceptable within the lifestyle. It would be the dominant who is leading the scene would perform the aftercare. However, if you are in a
club or a group?
Like a club or a group type setting, those who can administer aftercare in some capacity usually will, because again, it's a community. Everybody should feel safe. The tenets for the kink community in real life is safe, sane, and consensual. Like that's it. So if
so, and they kind of skirt that line with this. Like it is expressed that like this is a very important word, but they kind of use it like, because like at one point I don't think he actually uses the word.
There's a point where Mark is like, I know you don't want to do this. I'm talking about the candles. I know you don't want to do this, but you are opting not to safe word. So we are going to proceed because you have not safe word. Even though this is it, when it comes down to it, they discussed his limits on things that he would do as or things that he would witness as an employee. They didn't really. I think they touched on limits as in a personal capacity.
They did a contract also.
Right. So, and I think it was a medium limit at that point, or was it a hard limit with the contract?
It was a hard limit for watching it because of his background and because it feels like torture.
Right.
Was sort of what was suggested. But then Mark is like, I know that this is something you didn't want to witness. However, and then they experienced it.
Yeah. And he gives them the option at several points, and that's something that Tristan recognizes, that he is not moving forward. He's quite liberally pausing each step of the way so that Tristan can choose to continue. He's giving him the choice to continue.
It would be the same thing as like if you've ever been like walking with a small child, and a small child runs like 50 feet up and then they stop and they look back at you.
Right.
And then they run 50 feet up and they stop and they look back at you. Like that's kind of how it felt. It was like, all right, are we good to keep going? Okay, I'm going to keep going.
Right.
Are we going to keep going? And that's how it felt.
Honestly.
But not as a little kid though. Like maybe a nature guide would be a better thing. Or like if you were ever in the military, like a drill sergeant, they will push you to your absolute limit.
Yeah, we call them check-ins.
There you go.
But this, I really did appreciate how it was written, because it was written like it should happen in real life.
Yeah.
You know, So I did appreciate that scene. All of the scenes were actually really well written from my point of view as somebody who like criticizes writing all the time.
There were parts of it that felt clinical.
Yeah. And I wonder if that was a choice by the author because of what's happening with Tristan. Background on Tristan, for those who haven't read it yet, if you have, I hope you enjoyed this as much as we did. I think you enjoyed it.
I did.
So much so that we are discussing the rest of the series. So there's 2 other books that are after Salt Kiss. I'm actually very excited for them. The 3rd one is releasing on September 30th, so it'll be a couple of days after the airing of this episode. And we'll have a serious discussion about the following 2 books. But I think the reason that some of the scenes were clinical is because Tristan is suffering from PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
And having dealt with that myself,
mm-hmm.
your brain shuts down because the emotional impact of it is just... I'm speaking from experience. This is not everybody else's experience. This is mine. My brain tries very hard to go more analytical in dealing with whatever is giving me that episode. I will certain things trigger a panic attack for me, and they are so stupid. Like, after the fact, I think about them and they make me upset because they are so stupid that they are triggering. But that's just something that I have to live with for the rest of my fucking life. And it could be something as simple, and this is a real life experience, okay? In the kitchen, which is already a hot trigger zone for me because of past trauma. Raised voices, so that's trigger number 2, and then being crowded into a space where I don't feel like I can escape. Will send me instantly into a panic attack. So much so that I have to leave a space, otherwise I will then find an even smaller space and hyperventilate. So, I think what happened is when we get clinical in those scenes is because this is first person from Tristan's point of view. He is dealing with his brain trying to switch off the emotional side of it so he can deal with whatever he's dealing with.
So, and also I think, so like from my side, like with PTSD of a different format, mine's more related. It's not, it's the term that is used, but I'm coming to terms with the term. But from being in the military, like once you get out of that situation of being in the military, that high stress, high volume situation all the time, what happens is your brain is hardwired, just like anybody who has PTSD.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/ARTS. Just go to Indeed.com/ARTS right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
You're put into a situation where your brain rewires itself so that you can survive.
Right.
And what happens is when you get out of the military, like, you have to find some way of comfort, and that comfort exists in the military, and the only way to do that is exactly like you said. It's that analytical thing, and going back and going to the thing that you're most familiar with, which is procedure. What is the procedure for this? What is every step that I need to do? Like when I'm guarding Mark, what am I supposed to do? When Mark is doing this, should I be outside the door? Should I be inside the door? Left side of the door? Right side of the door? Listening? Not listening? He has to factor in all of these variables, and I think that's what keeps him grounded in those moments, as well as then when those things are happening, he's like, okay, this is why he's doing this. This is why is he instead of, because his non-analytical side, his honestly, he feels like a teenage girl sometimes, side of his brain is kind of like, why is he treating me differently? Does he not like me?
Right.
And like he doesn't want to feel that way. And the problem, the reason for this also it's, I don't know if it's a spoiler, but he's a virgin.
He is, and he's touch-starved, as diagnosed by his
therapist.
His
and
probably Walter Reed therapist.
and I think that both of those things play a part in the fact that like he's trying to find understanding in a place that he has no understanding. It gets brought up several times in there. He's good at everything naturally.
Mark or Tristan?
Tristan. It gets brought up several times that he's good at everything naturally. And so when he's in a situation where he doesn't understand, he has to find a way for himself to be able to know that he's right.
Right. That he's in the right place, doing the right thing.
Yeah.
That kind of,
and it's very much the old, like, the Girl Scout and the bad boy kind of trope. Except in this case, it's the Boy Scout and the bad boy.
Yeah.
And like the underlying story is the most interesting part, and I really hope Sierra Simone, right? That's her name?
Yeah.
Sierra, if you are watching this, the story, like I haven't read the other two yet, so I don't know, but like if you don't pick up more on this like background story and like the weird stuff that's happening in Mark's life, like I'm gonna be upset.
I am so excited. Okay, so I don't know if you've looked into the other two books.
I haven't at all.
Okay.
Not a bit.
So, the first one, Salt Kiss, is from Tristan's point of view.
Yes.
And you know what kind of, okay, I'm tangent. I kind of was irritated a little bit that I couldn't figure out, my brain works with these stories because almost all of them follow the same goddamn pattern every single time. I am very happy that this is a Tristan Isolde, an ancient Irish tale, older than Romeo and Juliet. Okay. Tragic, fated lovers type story. I love the fact that this is a retelling, and I did not realize that when I picked the book. It is one of my favorite love stories of antiquity. Okay. That's the history nerd coming out. It is my favorite love story of antiquity. I like what they've done with this, though. I agree. The background story is what I want to know. I want to know about the house in Britain. I want to know about the rings. I want to know why the hazel tree is so important. I want to know what's going on with Isolde as well. Because, like, we only have, like, 5 chapters at the end of the book where our female main character is
less than 100 pages.
Yeah, she's there for a blip in in the end of the book, okay?
Yeah.
And if you know anything about the Tristan and Isolde story, you know it's a love triangle. So that it makes sense to me that she would be part of it.
So for anybody who doesn't know, Tristan, Mark's bodyguard, Mark, Isolde's fiance. Well, Isolde, Mark's fiance. Yes. That's he's the tip of the triangle.
Yep, he is the fulcrum of this fucked up teeter-totter.
And it is.
It is. I want to know about the rings. I want to know about why there's that one trip every year, and I want to know why, because obviously Mark has a pattern. Mm-hmm. He has a sordid history with his bodyguards. I want to know what made him break his self-impeded solitude for this 2 weeks that he's gone, and bring Tristan in, other than maybe Tristan just kind of slammed his way in like the Kool-Aid man and was like, take me.
He kind of did.
He did, yeah.
Like,
but I don't know if that, like, they
also,
talk
like,
about his previous bodyguards that were also needy, and that didn't seem to bother him then. So what's, like, what was the impetus this time?
But also, like, they talk about like how Mark deals in information.
Right.
And he very much is like always calculating everything. He's always got his fingers on, like, he's always moving the chess pieces across the board. And I wonder, like, granted, this is 100% speculation, but like based off the way they built this character, I wonder if he intended it to go that way.
You know what? I had the same thought. What the chapter at the very end is Isolde is not Isolde. It might be Isolde. It might also be the receptionist, Mark's administrative assistant.
The one with the collar, or the keys, depending on if she's a dom or sub.
She's the actual receptionist. I mean, his administrative assistant.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that one.
One of them said that. Maybe it's the head of security. I can't remember, but it was the head of security. It was at the bar. They were having just a little tete-a-tete.
Oh yeah, when they had their moment.
Yeah. He said Mark is a master manipulator. He will. Somebody said this. I'm not even sure now. I have to go back and look. It's gonna bug me. He said Mark is a master manipulator. He will set people up and make them think that this is what they want and that they are actually making the choice to do this, although he set them up like months ago. He will lead them to the choice he wants them to, and they will think it's their choice. And I was like, is that what Mark is doing with Tristan?
I think that's 100% what it is. And I think that the only other person who knows this is Tristan's dad.
Oh, I hadn't thought about that.
Which is why he's so cautious about his son working for Mark. Because his dad is a high-profile member at the Pentagon.
Right. So he would have briefs and shit like that Mark would have... Well, I mean, he did do a lot of... They even admit that, like, Mark did work that not even the CIA is completely aware of. So
and also
that makes sense.
Like...
That makes sense, actually.
Yeah, and, like, they try to get information on him, but they can't get it, but he's able to get information out of them, and they don't know how.
So here's my other question, because... You saw that and I didn't, so I'm going to ask you, what do you think... Okay, given the evidence that we know Mark does not like Isolde's father.
Right.
Knew that. Because one of the first meetings that Tristan shadows him on is with Isolde's father. We don't know that's her father at first. We just know that Tristan was told by Mark that he did not like this person. He did not want to know this person. And he was very lucky that he didn't know this person. That being said, why is Mark so captured by Isolde, even in the small capacity that he is? What is it to gain? He doesn't really want to have anything to do with the banking business. He doesn't really even care to get married, to be perfectly... Yeah, but what power does Isolde's family have?
Well, the banking industry. That's the power, because they have the ability to manipulate the markets then, because it's one of the biggest markets in the region.
Right, but Mark doesn't care about money. That's not what he deals in.
It's right, but everybody else cares about money. And if he has control over the money, he can always get the information.
Okay. I'm not satisfied with your answer, but I like your answer, if that makes sense.
I know, because I feel the same way. Like, they didn't touch on it enough, is what it is. But also, I don't know. I think that, like, that Isolde was a large part of Isolde's, like, I think part of me feels that I'm trying to get my words together, that Mark had every intention of keeping his life the way that it was before with Isolde, where she was doing her thing, he was doing his thing. And then once he got Tristan, that's when he was like, I need to make this change.
Right, but he made a promise that once they got married, they would remain faithful to each other. So why continue with Tristan?
Because he now has control over both of them, because neither one of them are going to want to leave.
Right, but I mean, he doesn't break his word. That, like, there's so many things that are contradictory to the person that we have learned him to be, and the person that he says that he is, that most of the time he actually acts on. Like, he puts his money where his mouth is.
This is one of those ones where, like, I would say this falls into, like, what we'll come up and discuss later, being plot hole. Because, like, there are little things that have been thrown in here where it's like, I feel like you added this to make it more interesting, but you've also, like, violated the trust that we have with this character, because that's one thing that, like, exists in this book a lot, is trust. There is so much trust in this book.
And then,
and like,
and in trusting that we can't even. Okay, so there's trust in the fact that the characters trust each other to a certain amount, but there's also trust in the fact that they can't trust each other.
Exactly.
Which I think is a very interesting dynamic.
But there's a certain level that, like, they not only, like, there's this almost feeling of where, even though Tristan signed this contract and things of this nature, and he agreed to join in with this, it's almost the readers did the same thing when we started reading.
Right.
Like, we brought ourselves into this situation. We knew where it was going. We see where it's going. We get to be a part of this. And, like, so we have that same level of trust, but it's, like, a very, like, surface level trust with these characters because we can see their inner thoughts. But, like, even Mark, like, the way that he's written, like, you don't get anything.
No.
So, like, you have to trust that he is going to be what he says he is going to be. And he has never done anything.
Marvel statue of a man.
But he has never done anything other than be what he says he's going to be.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's the, like, you are that that's the way they bring you into this relationship and, like, keep you hooked because you're like, well, fuck, I want to know more about Mark. Everybody wants to know more about Mark. Mark wants to know more about Mark.
Yeah.
Like,
even the people closest to him wants to know more about Mark. I think the only person that probably does know the most
twins.
is his twin sister. And honestly, that's probably the least interesting bit about him is that he has a twin sister that is still in the CIA.
Yeah. And it's
the
overall it was
the least interesting and mysterious thing about him. Is his twin sister.
Yeah, like, finding out he had a sister, I was like, eh. And then it was like, oh, he's got a twin sister. I was like, eh. It's like, oh, she's in the CIA, and it's like,
they were in it together. And I was like, okay, well, I knew she was high up in the CIA. I didn't know, like, they were in it at the same time. I guess it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, you have to earn your medals and your, rank somehow, but...
Yep.
All right, well, we have reached that midpoint of the episode. This is a longer episode because we did want to introduce you to the Cryptid and get his take on bringing himself into, since we're talking about trust, bringing himself into the world of smutty reads. Please, if you haven't yet, subscribe to us on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure your notifications are on because we do plan on bringing you more episodes, not just of smut reads, but of reads in general. So what we talked about in our very last episode, which I apologize again that there was no audio. I don't know what happened, but I did re-upload with audio working.
I listened.
We were so upset about that book. So upset. If you haven't seen the post show on that, I am full on ugly crying about that book in the post show. We are bringing some new episodes about new book types. We have upcoming Ink and Asteroids, also going to have an episode sometime in September, probably before this episode even airs. That book is going to be, for our very first, our inaugural episode for Ink and Asteroids is going to be Starship Troopers. We also have another one that new episode that's going to be The Book Was Better, where we compare popular movies to their book counterparts. Some people don't even know those books exist. I'm very excited about those. And Shin wants to do a book club for fantasy reads, so I'm excited about that because he just, like, Brandon Sanderson. Yes, we can discuss Brandon Sanderson. I love it.
You and I should do a book is better than the movie.
Yeah, The Book Was Better? Which one?
You helped me with it for the entire semester.
Oh my gosh. Don't make me do that.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/ARTS. Just go to Indeed.com/ARTS right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Do it, but don't make me do that. That's three movies.
I haven't seen them either. I haven't seen them either, and it's gonna be like almost 10 hours of my life that I'm gonna have to give up to watch that.
I don't even know how that format's gonna work yet. Like when Smash and I were talking about it, like one person would read the book and the other one would watch the movie, or we both read the book and both watch the movie. We hadn't figured out how that format's gonna work, but it's coming, and the list for the book was better. It is a phenomenal list. I don't know if you've looked over it yet.
You know what? If you're listening to this, whatever podcast forum you're on, leave in a comment if you want to hear me and Christina Lynn talk about The Hobbit.
Oh my gosh.
Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, same thing, right down there, down in the comments section.
Or join our Discord. Discord is set up for all of these episodes. There are rooms for you to explore. You can interact with any of the co-hosts. They are clearly labeled. Join us on the Discord. The Discord has the access to the post show. It's for our paid members only at the moment because Apple Podcasts can go and suck my left nut. But we do hope.
I feel that way about all Apple products.
We're on Apple Podcasts. We love Apple Podcasts. What are you talking about? Anyways, join us on the Discord. Join us on YouTube. Join us on anywhere you get your podcasts. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio. You name it, we're there. I think we're even on Odyssey at this point. I think there's only 3 platforms that we're not on, and they're platforms I've never heard of. So, you could probably find us.
Tim Cook, your podcast platform sucks.
We're even on Amazon and Google Podcasts. So, we're everywhere. You can also find us on Twitch. I'm twitching almost... that's not right. I'm on Twitch almost every night except for Wednesdays and Fridays.
She is streaming.
Whatever. I'm playing some cozy games and maybe not so cozy games, and I'm happy to discuss the books that I've read this week or books that I've read in general. Come and talk to me.
And that can be found at twitch.tv/TheRecentMinion.
Is it The Recent Minion? I thought it was just Recent Minion.
I thought it was The Recent Minion, but I could be wrong. You know what? Try them both.
Try them both. I will definitely put a link in the Discord for those who are interested. I'm pretty sure it's just
You should also put it in the description of the video.
Maybe I will.
That description that's right down there.
Yeah. Are you gonna start streaming again? Aside from,
I might. We'll see.
Oh,
we'll see.
Okay. Sometime in the month of September, probably before this podcast comes out, the Sasquatch here, the Cryptid, is going to do a live audiobook for us. You can find us both in the chat or in the stream. I'm not quite sure how we're going to do it yet, but he is going to read Man-Eater, which was it's actually a fairly short, supernatural, cozy romance, and it is so flippin' cute. I think you're going to love it. It stars a succubus, okay? And I think she's a personal trainer even. So
look, that's totally fine. Most of the short ones that I've heard about have been horrendous.
Yeah. Well, I went for something that was a little cuter and nicer
Animate
for
Doors, The Kool-Aid Man, Bigfoot with his tree swinging dick.
I read that one. That one was good. I loved it. I loved it. Tell Elizabeth I loved it.
I will be reading Cryptid stuff for sure.
And we have them coming up, which we will announce the October book of the month at the end of the episode, right before the post show. So, I'm excited because we've come out of hiatus. We are branching out into different things. And if you have any book suggestions, please leave them in the comments down below on YouTube. In the comments of the podcast is fine. I still have to figure out how I'm going to retrieve those because it's very difficult to do across the 20 different platforms. But the best way is to get on the Discord. The Discord link is in our bio. It should not expire, and if it does, leave us a comment and I will be sure to fix it. But since we've hit the halfway point, I have some questions for you. Having read Salt Kiss, and finished it via audio and and the written word, what is your overall rating? You can do stars and chili peppers or water droplets. The water droplets are always the fun one for me and Cass. You don't have to do that, so.
Having no point of reference outside of this makes it difficult, but, like, as a story, as a whole, I genuinely enjoyed it. I wouldn't say that it's like we'll do out of 5 stars.
Yep.
But it's, I would say, for the story, like the intrigue, the way that they built up the story, the things that happened that are outside of the plundering booty. There's no pirates in this episode, by the way.
There's no pirates.
But
there is a boat, but there's no pirates.
There's a long boat scene. But it is I would say I can't just go like I want to say it's like, oh, it's dead smack in the middle, but like from what I've heard from some, like some are bad, and clips that I've read of some are bad, but also like some are really well done, really well written. I'd say I would say probably like a mid 3.5 to 4, like that range for me. Like I genuinely would continue the series.
Okay, and if you want to, you can give a spicy rating.
Honestly, like a 2.5 for me on the spicy side of things.
That's fair.
Like, it just, again, like parts of it felt very clinical. I want to see how it's done. Like, if the third one's written from Mark's perspective, that's the one I'm looking the most forward to.
It is.
Okay. See, now we have to read them.
Number 2 is from Isolde's point of view.
Sierra, if you have if you have somebody who's going to be reading the third one, don't get the guy who read the first one.
Oh,
call me.
Probably
I'll read
already
it for you.
done. To be perfectly honest, it's probably already done because it's being released in a month. So the audiobook is probably already recorded.
Yeah, I know, but still, I can have hopes.
You can have hopes.
It's like it's. I would continue reading them. I hope that they get a woman to read the second one from Isolde's perspective. Because if they get the same guy, it's going to be long.
It's going to be
this
arduous.
book just became a comedy.
So
book 2.
I would say this. Okay, well, for Salt Kiss Volume 1, I would definitely. I'm going to get so much shit for this, especially from the bestie. I'd give it a 4.5.
Okay, yeah.
I'd give it a 4.5.
I can see that.
Because usually the bestie is going off of the story and I'm going off the writing. And honestly, the first person, although it's irritating, it's not as bad as it could have been. The thing that I hate the most about first person is when we're stuck in the perspective of one person, okay? And they either don't acknowledge what is going on in their own mind, or they are acknowledging what other people's thought processes are. And I don't know if this is just because of how my mind works. There is no way in hell I know what you were thinking and how you were thinking it just by looking at your face.
Right.
Like, what my husband does, the reason he does things, it might be very surface that I can pick out, but I'm not going to know all of the underlying things. Like, you can't look at someone's face and be like, oh, there was confusion and there's fear and there's this and there's desire, and like, no, you're gonna see the first thing, because that first thing is the one that you're most used to. And
a small shift in their face, a muscle contraction.
And honestly, that did not happen quite as much as it usually does in most first persons. This was very well done for a first person point of view, and I like that it didn't jump between point of views.
I think the reason that they did it so well is because of the fact that they kept Tristan as clinical as they did.
Yes.
I think that helped.
Now that you're saying that, I'm now terrified about the second and third one. Yeah.
I will be interested to see, because like we literally got introduced to Isolde, and then she just sort of coexisted for what, 20 pages?
Most of the time that she was there. Yeah, it wasn't until the end that was happening.
Yeah. Yeah, and when we got to hear him talking about her so many times. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but
I'll fix it. I'll fix it. Yeah, that kind of stuff is post show for sure. I'll fix it. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll figure out how to fix it.
Good to know for next time.
I try to keep the cursing down out of the episode as much as possible so that we can eventually get monetized. But
if you have audio editing software, you can find that small segment. It's like right about there.
Yeah.
So there'll be a spike there. If you go back and you find it, you can literally just highlight that section, mute it.
Yep. So yeah. So I'd give it a 4.5 for writing, 4.5 stars.
Okay.
The spice, I would agree. It is for a book that is, like I said, the BDSM is supposed to be like that linchpin of the story. It's the framework in which the entire relationship of Tristan and Mark exists.
Yes.
Very, very little. Like it's all very surface, beginner stuff in the lifestyle. It's all.
And the bits that they do talk about, they barely talk about it.
Yeah, there's a lot of closed door situations in this book. I'm wondering if it's because it is an M&M type situation. I mean, it's a female writer. Obviously, this is written for the female gaze, which I am going to use my freebie question on you later about. So, I mean, for the spice factor, it's all right. And this is considered a dark story. I just didn't find it I know I talked about this probably in the warm-up didn't record show, but I like dark. I like really dark, pitch black type stuff. And this is considered a dark story, but I didn't find it that dark. And maybe it's not the romance that's dark. Maybe it's literally the backstory of the characters that is considered dark. So, I would agree the space is about a 2.
I wouldn't say it's dark. I'd say it's like a medium gray.
Okay, that's fair. I'll take that.
It's not even there's parts where you're like the wanting to know more about like Mark's background or like when he disappears. We'll cover that later.
Yeah. So, question number 2 then. If there were any corrections that you saw needed to be made, what would they be?
I could talk about things from the military perspective that I'm
actually hoping for that. When I came across some, I was in the DEPR program. Means I was only in for a year. I never actually made it to basic or AIT, which every day I kind of kick myself for because I would have been a kick-ass fucking air traffic controller. But there were things that in my limited military experience that I knew were wrong. I am wondering, as someone who actually got to serve,
I've met a dozen people in my life who have fabricated better stories about their military service. They did a great job of doing a cursory glance at what military life is like.
Mm-hmm.
I think most of their research came from film.
Probably.
And I don't mean like historical film.
No.
I mean like Saving Private Ryan or something of that nature.
Yeah.
If you want to know what is the most accurate naval movie in the world, based on the interactions of sailors and stuff like that, from my perspective, from most of the people that I know,
Down Periscope,
100%. But like if you want to know what the day-to-day life is like on a ship, they don't ever really nail it. But this is from an Army perspective, and granted, I have to take a pinch of salt with this because I was never in the Army.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the Navy, the best branch of service.
Oh, shut up. I joined the Army. My dad
the
was
Navy
in
has
the
an
Air
Army.
Force.
The Navy has an Air Force.
They're called the Marines, okay?
And also the Navy, we have more planes than the Air Force, and helicopters. So, anyways, like I said, the best branch. We all make mistakes and join the wrong branches, but I didn't. My grandfather was in the Air Force, by the way.
I married a military family and from a military family. I get it.
But like the thing is that some of the things are very accurate, but like the thing that stands out the most to me that is completely like unfathomably wrong is that like Tristan was in for as long as he was, which would have.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/ARTS. Just go to Indeed.com/ARTS right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Been probably, I think.
He was 28.
He's in his. Okay, so he did one tour. He would have been, so he did one 6-year tour. Point. Yeah, so he did a 6-year tour, which is weird because most of the time officers' contracts are 8 years or 10 years.
Well, that's the thing. That was the thing that like irritated me. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump on you.
No, you're good.
Was that it is described that he went through 3 deployments.
Yeah, and most deployments are on average 6 months. But usually Army ones go a little bit longer when shit happens, especially in Carpathia.
Right.
So it would probably have been a 9 to 14 plus month deployment.
Right. He went to West Point. He was on 3 deployments. He's only 28.
So, I mean, 3 years deployed, 3 years stateside. That's not completely unheard of.
That is some accelerated tours, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, and all of the stuff that happened, like, isn't there some? If I don't remember, okay,
not
it's been a long time since I was 18 and in the military. Isn't there a minimum amount of downtime between deployments?
No, you can volunteer.
Well, because he got medals and not accommodations. What am I thinking of?
No, you're thinking right. Accommodations.
Yeah, he got accommodations in between.
Commendations.
Yeah, commendations. That's what I meant. My brain just doesn't work like it used to.
You're good.
Commendations because of things that were happening. So in one of these tours, he saved somebody. It wasn't the big one, because that big one was the last one, which was 4 months before he took the job with Mark.
Yep. One of them, he saved his squad.
Right.
While they were being ambushed. One of his close friends died.
And that was the first one. That was the first deployment after West Point.
Yep. And then the second one, one of his best friends, one of his classmates died, and bled out in front of him. And then the third one, when they were doing basically bodyguard duty for the Carpathian ambassador
for
or
heads
presidential.
Heads of state.
He had to kill his best friend because his best friend was going to kill the Carpathian president and his family.
Her family. Her family. It was her husband and her 2 children.
And that's why Mark. That was the one that caused Mark the PTSD. That and also the second one a little bit, but the big one was Sims.
Yeah, Aaron Sims. I also thought it was interesting, again, just from my very limited Depper time in there. I thought it was very interesting that he was on his 3rd deployment, maybe 4 years, actually, boots on the ground kind of thing. He was high enough to be the commanding officer for everyone there, and Sims and him were in the same class at West Point.
So,
and like, I'm just.
Commanding officer is a term that is used differently in different branches of service.
Right.
An officer that is in charge of a command.
Right.
Is a commanding officer in most, but a commanding officer can be in charge of a command of a squad.
Okay.
Or something of that nature, and that is just a generalized term.
Right.
So most of the time that would be a lieutenant in the Army.
Right.
For like where he would be at, and 6 years in he'd be second lieutenant.
Not captain.
02, possibly 03. That guy, Captain. Fuck you guys. This is why the Navy's the best. You're all wrong. Captains have birds on their collar devices. 2 bars is a lieutenant.
We called them butter bars. Thank you very much.
That's an ensign. Thank you. Or a second lieutenant.
Not in the Army.
First lieutenant.
Anywho, so that was something that my mind was just tripping up over quite a bit.
Yeah, but the writing was passing.
Right.
In the same sense that, like, the way they talked about some of the kink stuff was passing.
Right. Right.
You could tell it was done knowing that what I know now that I didn't know while I was reading it, knowing that it was written by a librarian, I can tell.
Yeah.
This is somebody who knows how to do research.
This is something that I think I've said it before on the podcast probably many, many times, and I probably will continue to say it. Something that one of my creative writing teachers told me, it might even have been one of my English teachers in high school, was as an author, as a writer, you have to know enough about stuff that you can be an expert, and yet know just enough to get by to, just enough to get by to be an expert to people who don't know. You cannot be an expert to an expert, though. They will see you right off the bat that is not right. And I think that's what this is they did enough research. She did enough research that she knew, or maybe she had family and friends that she could discuss with, but it was just not quite right.
And I know what it is. Like, the way she could have sold it better would have made it more confusing for other people. That's the problem.
Right.
Like, if using the proper acronyms, using the right abbreviations, using, like, colloquialisms, using different, like, slang terms, talking about things like that. But then you're getting into, like, you now have to teach people this new language. In order for them to be able to stay in. And if you were to, like, if you got into the nitty-gritty of it, and you were like, oh, like, Tristan worked with, like, Spec Warcom or something like that, and he was deploying with 6th Fleet, and he served in this thing and that and this and that. Like, I'd be like, oh, okay, this all runs in a straight line. But other people be like, oh, I don't fucking get this military shit. Why'd they put it in here?
Well, and I will say that
get to the dicks.
In my writing, there have been points where I'm like, I need to show that I know what I'm talking about, because I actually do know what I'm talking about here. And then I go back to reread it to do my proofread or my self-edit, and I just realize this is bogged down technical bullshit that does not serve my story, other than to show that this person knows what the hell it is. And what the worst part of is, if 100 people were to read this particular passage of whatever I'm writing, maybe half of a person would understand what I'm writing. So is it really worth it to have that much space taken up by it?
The part that was the least believable out of all of it was that he made it through West Point and three people deployments without getting laid once.
Yeah. That was the worst part. And I was like,
this motherfucker joined the military when he was 18 years old and got out when he was 28, and never once
got laid.
Never once. Horseshit. There was one girl who got laid by, like, double digits guys in one 6-month deployment on my boat.
Wait, you had a woman on your boat? Oh wait, you weren't in the submarine, were you?
No, I was on a ship. My apologies. But we had there was rumors of very friendly people on board.
Oh, I bet there were.
They were part of it.
On a boat.
They look. You could have called them MWR, Morale, Welfare, and Recreation. By the way, for anyone who's listening at home.
Oh my gosh. We do not.
They were team players.
Here, okay,
I'm not slut shaming. I was friends with these people. I'm not saying names.
Appreciate that. We don't want. Yeah, we don't want lawsuits. No.
Nope.
I will say that one of the things that did strike me is, like, the most peculiar of things is, like, brought up, like, twice and then never again, is that he was in the choir at West Point.
Yeah, it gets touched on for a fraction of a second.
And then, like, Mark listens to him sing a hymnal.
And then he's like, you can sing?
I can too. Nobody gives two shits anyways.
Yeah, like,
what purpose
that's the least interesting thing.
Just to let you know, you should definitely sit closer to the camera because you just moved like that and you went all blur.
I disappear.
You did. Okay, so question number 3 then. What is a major plot point that you saw?
That.
Just
the fact that he was a virgin.
The virgin.
The virgin thing was like unnecessary. You could have had him had only had a high school girlfriend, had grown up in a very like stern religious background.
Mm-hmm.
You could have made him Catholic.
He was
having
Catholic.
Served in the military.
That's the thing. That was the whole reason that he went to mass.
Then that's why he's a virgin, not because he's fucking clingy.
Yeah, that was so bad.
Like you turned this interesting character with like into a teenager, into like a first love teenager. Like everything's so beautiful and I love everything, and it's like, oh my god, they held my hand, I want to love them and marry them forever. And it's like I think that you did a disservice to your character that way. But the biggest plot hole is, I mean, that you introduced a bunch of ideas in this first book, and you're probably going to loop around to them because based off of what I read, you're not a terrible writer.
No. Oh my! This is one of the better
that's
books
what I'm saying
all year.
And like, so I assume that you're going to touch more on this. We're going to learn more about like his sister. We're gonna the singing thing is going to come more into play.
I hope so.
The other things may come more into play. I mean, it would be. I would like to see some of the little things that were addressed that just were like throwaway piece of information, throwaway, and it's like that could have been in the important thing, the entertaining thing, the interesting thing. But the biggest, honestly, the genuine biggest plot hole for me that makes zero fucking sense is that like he made it 10 years in the military without having one person touch his pee-pee.
That's fair. That's fair. I would say my major plot hole is that I brought it up before. Is why Isolde?
Yes.
Like, especially at the end there, like, because it's kind of that whole last part. It's like 5 chapters, and they're very very short.
It's 60 pages.
It's not. It's you blink and you miss it kind of thing.
Yeah.
He is very much you were there you were there as my proxy. You need to take care of her. And then at the very end, that kind of, we have a lot to talk about, don't we? That was like, okay, so are you setting him up? Did you set him up to fail? Did you do this on purpose? Obviously, he couldn't join the trek the 3 weeks. It doesn't take 3 fucking weeks to cross the Atlantic. With a 3-week journey from Ireland to Manhattan, that trek, almost the same exact path, is not warm. Nobody's going to be out in the fucking pool.
But they were.
I know. Like, do we not own a
boat? The whole
boat?
time.
Like, do we not remember the trip of the Titanic? They left in April, okay? That was a 2-week journey in April, and there were icebergs.
I was an Atlantic sailor.
Okay, so you know then, like, how is this not 1, quicker, and 2, how is this something that we're gonna?
When was it that they left? It was like July.
I have no idea. But I bet it was
still fucking
cold.
But like, well, so up there, like in that region, it's going to be warm. It's going to be colder, yes, but it's also going to be like on the ocean. It will be warmer, because of the fact that it's just the sun beating down on the ocean. I lost my face for a second.
I don't know when they leave. I don't think it's.
I want to say it was a summer thing. I think they talked about it like around the like 200s, a little bit.
I'm
but
looking. The Azores. The Azores came into view on the horizon, green and mountain peaked. Isolde and I created a little ocean routine. In the mornings, I go to the dojo with her and do whatever she needs, hold her bag, wave a rubber knife or rubber gun while she practices disarming me, doing push-ups and squats with her, and cheerfully win whatever unspoken calisthenics competition we're in, although not by much. So, that was one huge fucking sentence.
Yeah. There were a lot of those.
Okay, maybe you can answer this for me. What the hell is DFAC food?
DFAC?
Yeah. Here's on page 275. He says he doesn't say it, but it reads, and I'll remember that it was less than a year ago that I was eating DFAC food scooped out of a hot metal pan.
I think that DFAC is Defense Force something commissary, probably.
That is not a term that I recognized at all. And it came up a couple of times. I was like, what the fuck is that?
It was a dining facility.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. No, what she should have done, she should have called.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/ARTS. Just go to Indeed.com/ARTS right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
The chow hall.
Yeah. Because that's what I know it as, is the chow hall.
That's what everybody in the military calls it.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, like, hey, heading over to the hall, I'm going to grab something to eat.
Yeah.
Like, going over to the chow hall. Like, that's what it is. Nobody's like, going to the DFAC.
We're going to chow. We're going to the chow hall. That's all I've ever heard.
For us, it's the mess decks.
That makes sense.
Unless we're on shore, then you're going to a chow hall.
Mm-hmm.
But
okay.
like, yeah, no, I'm heading over to the mess decks, heading over to the mess.
So that was the whole Isolde situation in general for me was like why would you assume that he knew that you were engaged?
Yeah.
You know, like it just didn't make sense.
Yeah, the Isolde part is probably the biggest plot hole.
Yeah. Okay, so question number 4, and then we'll wrap it up and head into the post show. In your newly enlightened state, would you consider this a romance, a smut, or erotica?
It's right there on the like smut romance cusp for me.
I agree so much. It is
because like the smutty scenes don't feel smutty, and the romance scenes feel romantic.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. I agree. Okay, so then last question to freebie. Any question you have for me about the book? Not necessarily about the book, but just like
I'm trying to think about the book.
We definitely need to get you a light because it's so dark in there that you are just blurring out.
I can like there's a light over there that I can turn on that will help so that the camera can pick up on me better. But like I've got a white screen projecting to try and help a little bit.
That I appreciate that.
But what like compared? So I don't have like I said, this is my first time. I am the Tristan in this case. And so what like do like why because you said you were thinking it might make me uncomfortable, right? Like do you think this would have made most people uncomfortable?
Yes.
Like this kind of story?
Yes.
Huh. That's that would be my like why?
So the reason for that, think about the world we're in right now. It's a very
give me 5 seconds. I'm gonna turn on my light.
Yeah, I'll make sure this is edited out. You're fine.
All right, I'm back.
Okay. So simple answer is yes. I think this book would have made a large contingent of people who, if this was the book that, like, we put a gun to people's head and said, you have to read this book, I think this book would have made a large number of people uncomfortable. And the reason I think that is, although it is considered a classic today, Brokeback Mountain made a lot of people uncomfortable. And if you think about this is spy, military, bodyguard, Brokeback Mountain.
In my notes, so I took notes on the book, by the way.
That's fine. I never do. I have really good recollection of things that I read.
I usually am good about it, but if I don't write them down, it's less likely to stick. So
totally understand. I can set you up with a book journal if you want.
Oh no, you're good. Blah blah blah. Beauty and the Beast feels. That's one thing that I put in there. Mm-hmm. It kind of had that vibe to it. I in all capitals, shenanigans on the military stuff.
Yeah.
Incel vibes was in there.
Oh,
because
really?
That's the only explanation I have for him not having had anyone ever touch his pee-pee when he was in the military.
I did not read Incel-y, but I get it. I get it.
That particular part to me, it didn't. Nothing else. Nothing screamed incel to me. But that is the only rational reason I could come up with. Was like, but anyways. But on I put whiny main character too because I felt like he kind of was. On page 132, if you get out your book. There's
32. I was so close to it before.
It's either 132 or 133, but it's the scene right before they start for the first time. He talks about basically there's a line in there that's
easy, I whisper, and then I utter the most honest thing I've ever said. I want you.
That line right there, straight out of that is like the quintessential line from Brokeback Mountain that everybody always talks about is I can't quit you.
Yeah.
And that has the same vibe to it.
Yeah. Yeah. As soon as you said, oh, you're coming up on the Brokeback Mountain part, I was like, yes. What the hell are you talking about? And then I read it and I was like, that is exactly what he's got. I didn't text you. I didn't text you when it happened, but I was like, yeah, that. But that's why I think that this would make most people uncomfortable.
Okay, that's fair.
Because this is a predominantly queer story.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think those who are more in the heteronormative sphere of their romances, which, I mean, again, I don't see a problem with this. I love books like this because love is love, and I don't care who it's between.
I think it was like page 270 something when they first start when there's the first male-female scene. Well, like the Tristan and Isolde, not the desk scene.
Right. And I think part of the problem that if you, I don't know if you recall this, but it is a little questionable how he ends up in this relationship. Tristan, I mean. Because there's a part in it very beginning, probably when they're talking about the previous bodyguard before
Strasbourg.
Yeah, Strasbourg. He says to himself, I mean, like, I consider myself a hetero guy and I don't care. Yep. And just because I've never seen it doesn't mean that it doesn't happen, but it's okay because that's them. And as somebody who considers himself staunchly hetero, he does fall very quickly into this queer relationship. And he never outright considers himself a bisexual, doesn't wave that flag. I would say he definitely is. Even in the very beginning, I would consider him to be at least bi-curious. But some people might see that as coercion. And he was led to that kind of thing. So I think this would make, especially, not that I'm saying that you are that type, but especially a lot of bros.
A lot of men in general.
I would, well, there are certain men, I would say, that, I think we've had this discussion of gay chicken before. There is the game of gay chicken, and I don't understand it, but then, that's not, I guess, my culture.
Leave your gay chicken experience in the chat.
Yes.
In the comments below.
There are those who don't even approach that aspect of sexuality because of fear or whatever else is going on in it. They would never pick this up. As soon as they got to the point where oh, this is a romance book and the back says it's a love story between a guy named Tristan and Mark, I'm not reading it.
Yeah, that's
I
fair.
was a little afraid. Like, I pulled it down and I was like, oh, okay. After the leaving the army, a young former soldier. Cool. I didn't process until a couple of days later when I'm really looking at this. When my husband brought it up, that the big words on the back says, falling in love with a husband and his wife, torture.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh shit, what did I give Nigel to read? My husband asked, what are you making Nigel read? I think right after that, I think that it wasn't the first text, but it was one of the ones that was like, how are you doing? I'm sorry. Next time I'll pick better.
No, and that's the thing is, like, it wasn't a bad book. Like, you picked a good book. And like, also I think you picked a good book, and also the right person, the right male person for that book.
Yeah.
Because like, I think you and Bestie could have very easily made it through this book, no problem, and like had a great discussion about it. But like, if you would have tried to get Shin to read this book, Shin would have DNF'd.
Oh, 1000%.
Yeah. Shin would have gotten to page 136.
You would have gotten that far, huh?
No, he would giggled his way through about 2 pages.
There were solo shower scenes well before that. So, I mean...
Oh, shit, I forgot about those, because they were like... Yeah, that's right,
they started fantasizing about Mark very early.
We'll talk more about... Because there's words that I want to use that I'm not going to use while we're talking here.
So we'll go into the post-show for that one. So my freebie question... was any... I know you dual read... Not really dual read, but you partitioned read and listened. Aside from listening because of the bad actors' choices, was this actually easy for you to get into? Like
yeah.
We're reading it for a specific... We meaning people in my situation, we'll put it that way, are reading it for a specific thing. Like, this is for the female gaze. Was it an enlightening experience on how maybe women view romance and intercourse or anything like that?
For me, it was... This is going to sound really fucked up.
Okay.
But, like, it was borderline funny.
Okay.
Because parts of it seem... I get the same way when I read, like, other books that are, like, almost nonfiction that could be, like, turned, like, in the right situation.
It's just
it could be
2 steps away from nonfiction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, there's some things, like, when things happen that are far-fetched, I'm like, come the fuck on, really? Like, when you're watching a horror movie and, like, they're reaching for the keys and the keys are 9 feet away, and then fucking 5 seconds later the keys are in their hand. It's like, come on, how did you... Like, there's little things like that happen. But, like, I also had to take the book much less seriously because, like, when I realized, like, what was like, when I got to page 132 or 133, when it starts happening, that was like, I got in that, like, that was the moment where I was like, okay, like, I read straight through to that point.
Okay.
And then I got to that point and I was like, I was at work and I was like, I don't need to start reading this while I'm at work.
What, are you afraid of a reaction at work? Or are you afraid to laugh at work?
I'm afraid that, like, the wrong person will walk in and look over my shoulder and then I would get in trouble because there are some people at my work that are very insecure.
Oh, okay. We're talking about that large amount of people that would not be comfortable with reading this book. I get it.
Because Elizabeth also works with me, and, like, I was telling her about stuff in the book, and, like, when I got to those parts, like, I was like, are all of them like this? And she's like, you find a rhythm to get past it. Like, If you don't want to, like, it works the same way all through them. And like, if you don't want to read the sex scenes, it's very easy to skip past, and it doesn't affect the story.
Yeah, yeah.
But I read them, most of them. There was like a point where I was like, because when it starts, it goes tedious for a while. Also, like it starts at 1:30, and like I don't think they stop fucking for, sorry, language.
It's fine.
It's fine. For 50 pages.
Yeah.
40 pages.
Oh, like, if you listen to the last episode, you'll hear us bitching about it. Like there was a sex scene that lasted like 3 chapters.
No, I'm sorry.
It was one of the gripes that we had for that book. And if you guys haven't heard that podcast, you should go back and listen to that episode. It is a good episode, if I say so myself. No,
so but
it makes sense.
But it was it was enlightening seeing a different type, and like now that you've mentioned it, like looking, it was designed for the female gaze. Like in my head, it was like it's just a book. Like it's a book. Books are for people. Because like that's how I feel that books should be, but like only girls read romance novels, blah blah blah. My mom read the Clan of the Cave Bears books and stuff like that. Was the closest I ever got to romance novels.
Have you read those?
No, I have not. I read small parts of them, but I was a teenage boy and I was like, there's no way I can read this.
Maybe we should add that to our book discussions. I've read most of them.
My mom has read every single one of them.
They were interesting for me. I came to them late in life. We'll talk about it in the post show. Okay, your reactions though, like what were you?
I looking at it now with that perspective in mind, like it's really interesting seeing the difference in how men write stories for men and women write stories for women, and then people write stories for people.
Yeah.
Because like I've seen this book was written by men for men. I've seen this book was written like as a general thing. The Hobbit is an example of that.
Right.
But also The Hobbit is very much a man book written for men.
It is. It really is.
It's about war and strength and power.
Maybe that's what we'll talk about when you make me read it for The Book Was Better.
Yeah. But it's interesting because like the detail, like thinking back on the details in that book that I thought were like, oh, this is silly. Why would anybody care about this? Being like, okay, I get that.
Yeah. And that I think is something that most people forget, is that this is written for the female gaze. And there are some things that like I know when the most common line in every single one of these books, and the more you read with me, the more you'll see it, is it's usually F, you are perfect, or you feel like heaven, or something like that. Okay.
You Are Perfect was in that book a few times. Yes.
Yep. It's the reason, again, it's for the female gaze. It's maybe not even for the female gaze. Maybe it's for the female ear. Okay.
Yeah.
A lot, not everyone, this is not speaking for everybody, but a lot of insecurities are how our partner perceives us. And that might even not be the real perception that our partners have, but it's the perception we think that they have. So to hear someone tell the main character, the main love focus, that they are perfect and they are irresistible, it becomes fucking tiring to hear the same goddamn line in every single book, probably 50 times. But it speaks to something within that the female psyche, the female presenting psyche.
And we'll talk about it in the post show, but like the descriptive words that were used for how Tristan was physically feeling in a lot of situations, like
I bet a man would never actually attribute those kind of feelings.
God, not in a fucking billion years.
No.
We'll get into it.
We'll get into it. Well, guys, that was us discussing Salt Kiss by Sierra Simone. We have read it. We have rated it. We enjoyed the hell out of it. It is
I listened to it.
It is 343 pages in the physical book. It is not found on KU. So you'll need to purchase this, and it is worth the purchase. I have book 2 and book 3 coming in on the 30th of September. Nigel, as soon as we get it, we will definitely have a discussion. And the discussion reads are not scheduled. They are, as soon as we're done with the book and we have time to record it, we're going to discuss it. So those are pop-up episodes. I'm sorry I don't have those on a schedule. Sometimes we don't want to schedule for something we're just enjoying the hell out of.
For Salt Kiss, right now online on Amazon, I'm looking. Paperback, $7.39, Kindle, $5.99, audiobook, $20.
Okay, okay, but is the audiobook worth the $20?
No. If you get the audio, if you're like, well, I don't really like reading, don't listen to this book. I highly recommend, especially if you're a man. I don't know if for like Christina Lynn, if you guys are able to stay around for the after show, the post show, I will play a snippet and you will get to hear this voice. If the only person that I could compare it to is Vic Cundiff.
I have no idea who the hell that is.
I know you don't, because that's so. There's a man named Vic Cundiff, and he has a silky smooth voice. And he is the host of a show called Bigfoot Eyewitness Radio and Dogman Encounters Radio and a couple of other cryptid podcasts. And he has a very like old school radio silky smooth voice.
Okay.
Like that.
Okay.
Like that. Hey, welcome to the podcast.
That reminds me of what is it? Something Legends. I love that podcast. I can't remember what it is now.
But this guy sounds like he's trying to do an imitation of a bad recording of Vic Cundiff.
Oh, okay. I get it. All right. So, usually, because this is your first episode, usually we give the next book of the month, which is for October. We're going to try very hard not to read this ahead of time so that the other co-hosts and the co-host will have a chance to do it. But
you have no idea how hard it has been for me not to read this book.
We'll find some other ones for you to read. Don't worry about it. So our October book of the month for the Pretty Little Death Book Club is So I Fell for Bigfoot, The Mating Game Book 5. We are going to break from what we normally do, which is the start of a series only. And we're going to jump into book 5. And we're going to do that for our cryptid here because it is a Bigfoot story. It is by Kristen Strassel, and I don't think this is on KU. I'm looking in the store now.
Kristen, we're coming for you.
Oh, nope, it is not available on KU. The Kindle price is $5.99. So if you don't want to pay for it, that's fine. We'll read it for you. It was published January 11th of 24, and it's 239 pages according to my Kindle Scribe on the Kindle store. So that is for the month of October. We're going to go for a little spooky, scary for October.
293 pages. I've got it right there.
There we go. Kind of fuzzy on that one. All right, Nigel. So what we do now is usually we have a recommendation for our co-host, and I doubt you have one for me, but that's okay because I'm gonna have one for you. So the one that I recommend, now I gotta look for what I didn't do you want something dark?
Sure.
Okay, hold on, let me pull up Kindle over here. Oh, everything went dark. There we go. Okay, Kindle. Gotta find it because I already sent it back.
I actually do have a recommendation for you.
Oh, really?
That was recommended to me a while ago by my sister, and I had an ADHD moment. I got about 100 and something pages into it, and I set it down, and it disappeared forever.
Okay.
And I recommended it to Elizabeth, and she actually enjoyed it.
Okay, I'm listening.
Butcher and Blackbird.
You obviously have not listened to enough of the podcast.
Have you already done that one? Seriously?
You should go back and look at it. Give me a second.
I'm going to have to go back and look at that one then. Okay.
Okay.
I feel like a bad person now.
You're not a bad person. You just made bad choices.
Look, here's the thing. It was recommended to me by my sister, and like
I will say this. Okay, I will say this.
The only thing is
it.
I have read up to the point of where they are about to have sex for the first time, and I've enjoyed the story so far.
That's fair. That's fair.
So I don't know what I'm stepping into. I don't know what room of the kink club I'm going to be hanging out in today.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay. Is this the one that I'm thinking
I
of?
can't wait to go back and listen to that. Oh, God.
Oh, that's
I
not
Googled trying to find the name of it, and right here on the book lovers group in Facebook, one of them says, "Does Butcher and Blackbird get better?" I'm 151 pages in, and I'm kind of bored of it.
Go ahead and listen to the podcast episode. That's all. Okay. Here you go. Okay. So my recommendation. Oh, maybe it's not. Hold on. Okay. I'm going to switch it up. I'm not going to go dark. I'm going to give you monsters. Okay? I'm going to give you monsters. I think you're going to like it. This one is a cozy one. It's not terrible. It's cute. It's definitely cozy. It was released in March of 2025, and it is called Pretty Little Death. Is recorded by the bestie and the critic, edited by the critic, graphics done by the bestie. All opinions are original and in no way are paid by the author.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/ARTS. Just go to Indeed.com/ARTS right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.